Earlier promised, we are now going to cross over to our interview segment where we shall be discussing matters adopting technology in the Juakali sector with Richard Muteti, who is the CEO of the Federation of Juakali Associations. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And now just to kick us off, when we look at the manufacturing sector, what is the role played by the Juakali sector in complementing the government efforts?
Well, thank you very much for having me here in studio. As you've heard, my name is Richard Muteti. I'm the Chief Executive of the Kenya National Federation of Juakali Associations. And before I go to your question, I think it's important to demystify what Juakali sector is. Apart from complementing the efforts of the government in the affordable housing and the housing programs, I would like to mention here that Juakali sector touches on livelihoods every day. Juakali sector and the word as it connects, I would like to clarify that Juakali sector means sharp knowledge sector. It's the only sector whose members can do to you services and programs without having gone to school. It is attested by the fact that the Noah's Ark was created by the Juakali sector then. Back to your question. Well, what we are complementing the government in the did you say construction?
I said in the manufacturing sector.
In the manufacturing sector.
Yes.
Well, as I said earlier, the Juakali sector is operating in around 18 subsectors, and we are daily involved in that production. We have several Juakali association clusters. Most of the most common ones are the metal fabrication clusters, woodwork clusters, motor vehicle engineering. We manufacture. We are in all the value chains. Coming back to the complementation, every household in this country is touched by the work of a Juakali sector. If you look at the utensils that the Juakali sector are producing all the basics that you can imagine in the lower segment of the economy, from the sufurias to the wheelbarrows to the jembes that people go with to the farms. You know, now we are even cannibalizing generators and constructing and building tractors. We are in the roofing, tiling, house constructions, and so on. So yes, we are complementing, and we've been doing it even before independence.
Very well. And with emerging trends in the digital space, how has the Juakali sector been incorporated or has been able to merge with the trends, for instance, social media, as well as other tech platforms?
Well, that is a very interesting question. Before the entrance of the IT segment in the Juakali sector, we had been faced by serious problems of how to save. For example, a Juakali artisan selling kiondos or selling sufurias or doing mechanics would make some money from morning to midday. Then he needed to close the workshop so that he can go to the bank and queue. And you know, most of our queues in the banks take almost 4 hours. So this was very disruptive. In the advance of the IT revolution, we are very happy that most of the Juakali sector artisans are using IT technology to do their savings. They are doing their IT technology to do their booking for their raw materials and so on. I'm happy here to inform you that we are having a current program with Zamara that is called Fahari ya Juakali, where our members are saving on a daily basis through IT platforms without leaving their work sites. Also, about your social media questions, most of the Juakali sector people are now even marketing their products and bring their awareness through the social media. We are getting there, and I see there's a lot of benefits that come about on the IT, but we are yet to integrate fully. We're also using IT to design our products. Very soon, I'm sure you've interacted with some of our products in the market that are very well designed. We are working closely with development partners. Recently, we are now in very good working relation with the TVET subsector, and yeah, IT is changing the lives in the Juakali sector.
Well, you've mentioned the TVET sector. Perhaps Taking a look at the technical and vocational education training institutions, perhaps how has it incorporated Jua Kali, and rather what is the role they are playing in the sector?
Well, honestly, this is a huge phenomenon. I must say here that we have not yet established an institutionalized relationship with our TVETs. We have some sort of relations, and you must be aware that the Federation of Jua Kali Association has been advocating for recognition of pre-learning. We have realized that the skills that are in the Jua Kali sector, some of them cannot even be found in the TVET sector. We are saying that we need to work very closely with the TVETs. Well, we have around, I think, roughly 1,300 TVETs in the country. We have more than 5,000 Jua Kali associations in this country. The two segments, institutions, provide the same thing to the society. The TVETs are bringing skills to our students and our people. The Jua Kali sector is bringing raw skills for survival every day. So we are looking at a situation where we have an institutionalized relationship with the TVET so that we can do two things. Number one, so that the TVETs can be incubation centers for the Jua Kali sector. Number two, so that we can address the issues of quality and productivity and competitiveness of the Jua Kali sector products. I'll give you an example. When the sector was requested to produce school desks, we lost an opportunity of an institutionalized relation with the TVETs, where the TVETs would have been the incubation centers, storage centers, and we would even have done joint ventures with them. There's a lot that our people can learn from the TVET sector, but there's also a lot that the TVET sector can learn from the Jua Kali sector. We are looking for a relationship where the students from the TVETs can come to the Jua Kali sector and learn practical initiatives. I'll give you an example. We had an opportunity of visiting some TVETs when we were looking for these relationships. And my people, especially in the wood cluster and the metro subsectors, they said they have nothing to learn from the TVETs. Some of these TVETs are using obsolete equipments. And they were shocked that our people who are operating on the trenches are using modern equipment than them. If you go to Ngong Road, you can see the kind of furniture that is coming out from those guys who are operating without roofs, without the benefit of modern workshops and worksites. If you go to Kamukunji, you will find a lot of lorries coming to pick products from the regional countries for export. So what I'm saying is that I'm happy with the current government. This is the first time that our sector has been focused real time, practically, by almost everybody now, because now the talk is about the hustler. The talk is about the Jua Kali sector. The hustler and the bottom line economy is about the Jua Kali sector person. We need to change the way the Jua Kali sector person is operating so that we can even generate more employment to our people in this country. And the relationship with TVETs is one that is very serious and we are emphasizing on.
Well, other than improving the relationship, and perhaps what is the role that TVETs can now play, just go a step further in incorporating the Jua Kali artisans so that you can be able to merge both and actually flourish?
Well, some of the roles, as I said to you earlier, would be answering to what are the issues that are impeding our growth, productivity, and competitiveness. And as I told you earlier, we are talking about quality of the products that we are producing. We are talking about standardization. We are talking about patenting of our products. Well, the value I'm seeing TVET bringing to the Jua Kali sector is giving us a platform of a dignified production methodologies, a platform of increased efficiency in the way we are doing our production, a platform of interacting in a situation where our artisans are also given an opportunity to teach in the TVETs and vice versa. Some of these lecturers in the TVETs, they are very good lecturers, but they have never done business. They have never produced anything for sale. If you look at a lecturer in a TVET institution teaching about woodwork, there's a lot of drawings, but our artisans, our Jua Kali artisans are doing the real thing. Or at Kikomba, they are doing the real thing on Ngong Road. So these two differences is what we are looking at bringing together. Then, once we merge, I'm seeing now the TVETs giving us an exposure We need to look, sorry, we need to look at how is German doing it? How is the first world doing it? How is the Asian countries doing it? Why is it that the technological advancements, the cottage industries in these countries are so advanced? Then together with the TVET system in this country, we can move to the next level.
Very well. And the government is committed to close the housing gap, which stands at 2 million units as of October 2022. And what is the role the affordable housing program has played in support of the Juakali sector, as it is a key pillar in the government's agenda?
Well, we are talking about the affordable housing. I need to say 3 things here. First, I need to thank the government so much for finding it fit to use the Juakali sector artisans to produce the doors and windows for the affordable housing. This is a serious initiative. It's a game changer. It's going to create a lot of employment opportunities to our people. In addition to that, the affordable housing infrastructure has identified 69 products that can be produced by the Juakali sector. The Juakali sector producing 69 products, including hinges, doorknobs, and so on. This is going to be a serious, number 1, incubation center for efficiency and skills development for our people. Number 2, is going to mop up the idle youths, the idle skilled people that are out there who have not been used properly. Now, and I'll tell you that we need to do this in tandem with the recognition of prior learning policy in Kenya. We need to fast track that so that the skills that we have in the building subsector in this country from the Juakali sector can be identified and certified, so that when we supply our people to this affordable housing process, we give the country the confidence that it deserves, that our people are skilled. And I'll tell you something, in the rural areas, almost 90% of all the houses are built by Juakali sector people. Nobody asks a Juakali sector artisan where they went to school. The neighbors just tell you, I want a house like my neighbors. They don't ask you who built it or where did you go to school. So I want to give you the assurances that we are up to it, and we thank the government for giving us that opportunity. I want to move further and say that we also should continue the issues of school desks to our people. Give the Juakali sector opportunities. We are everywhere. We are in all the villages in this country where all these primary schools, secondary schools, and so on are there. It's so unfair for the institutions to import furniture which can be built behind your backyard by the artisans that are living in your environment. I want also to say that the Juakali sector lives up to the emerging challenges. When we were faced by COVID, it is the Juakali sector that started manufacturing the masks before they were even imported. They used the textile, they used the clothes, but they worked. I will tell you that we are powering this country by producing school uniforms. School uniforms have always been produced by the Juakali sector artisans. Go to Uhuru Market and see how more than 500 tailors are working, and you'll appreciate the work of the Juakali sector.
All right. Now, President William Ruto will launch the Hustler Fund credit and savings product on the 1st of December this year. How will the Hustler Fund impact the lives of individuals in the Juakali sector?
Well, the issue of the Hustler Fund is a big issue. The issue of the Hustler Fund is giving a lot of hope to a small business person. A small business person that includes the Juakali artisans. One of the biggest problems that the Juakali sector has faced in this country is lack of affordable credit and affordable finance, both personal and for entrepreneurial purposes. If you look at the way we are doing our work in the Juakali clusters, we have lacked finishing tools, finishing equipments. We have lacked modern work sites. We have lacked modern common user facilities. I'm looking at the Hustler Fund from a different perspective. Yes, from a personal perspective point of view, it can be used by the hustlers to borrow and eat and buy their clothes and so on. I'm looking from the entrepreneurial angle of it, where our people will improve their businesses. For example, I want to see a situation where a boda person improves and graduates from a boda to a taxi, to a Uber, to a matatu, to a bus. I would like to see a situation where a welder improves from welding from the trenches near cemeteries, from the trenches huko kwa mtaro to a modern factory area where they are producing. I want this hustler fund to be a bit different from the funds that we are used to, and we have seen them. Okay, they have tried their fair share, but the hustler fund appears to be targeting a hustler here is a business person. So I'm looking at a situation where the Juakali artisans are going to be impacted positively by accessing affordable, accessible credit and finance from this hustler fund.
Well, even as the individuals have access to credit products, do you think there is need for financial education for them?
Okay, I must say that, you can't just spring money on people. It has to be a package. It has to be a 360 package. It has to be accompanied by financial literacy, most of our people, as you know, they don't even keep books. They don't maintain books of accounts. They don't know how to apportion what money goes to marketing, what money goes to raw materials, and so on. So financial education is a must. If there is no financial education, I'm afraid that 90% of that money is just going to evaporate. We need to accompany this, and that's why I'm saying, and I'm happy that today, this morning, I've received several letters, copies of letters of my people, our county Juakali representatives being called to give their submissions of the Hustler Fund and how they would like it to be done to impact their lives. So yes, financial inclusion, a lot of training, a lot of exposure, and also incubation is going to work very well for the sector.
As we take a look at financial education, perhaps how can that be implemented?
Well, when we talk about financial education, you see, most of these Juakali artisans are operating in one place. They're operating in productive clusters, including the cooperatives. We are looking at a situation where the people tasked with this issue around financial literacy will find ways of interacting with our people to capacity build them on skills, and especially on financial management, about the BDS, business development services, about the technical. That can come later. But this money has to be accompanied hand in hand with financial inclusion, financial training, and outreach to our people. If you tell our people to come to your office, how many people are we talking about in the informal economic sector? The last time I checked, it was around 18 million. I believe that the informal economic sector, majority of who are in the micro and small enterprises, are now approaching to 20 million. We have to find a very creative way of reaching out to these small businesses and educate them. And we have also to know one thing. Even without the Hustler Fund, we have been operating. We have been getting money from Shylocks. We have been getting money from so many places, plus Fuliza. We are looking at a situation where the Hustler Fund is coming now to look at those issues of affordability, of interests, of flexibility, of patience money, patience capital, where our people can be empowered holistically so that they can move from where they are to the next level. So that our Masai market women can move from sitting on the floor when they are selling this country in tourism, selling elephants and giraffes that our tourists have seen in the tourist attraction centers while they are seated on the floor. We would like this fund to capacity build them so that they are able to come with stools, tables, and display measures.
Well, thank you so much. That was Richard Muteti, the CEO of the Federation of Juakali Association. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, sir.